Well, I was on a Kentucky road one night when I discovered that I was lost. Well, the next thing I knew, I was on an old dirt road in the woods when I noticed an old church with a dim light on the inside. So I decided to stop and see if anyone was there who could help me find my way back home. Well, I quietly knocked on the door when a voice said, "Come on in." Well, when I opened up the door, there was a man who I guessed to be a bum or such. But when I told him I was lost, his voice sounded like a man with too much wisdom to be a bum. So I started talking to him about being lost when he said, "My son, you were lost, but now you're found. If you'll only listen to my words." Well, I thought to myself, well, here we go. I've got to listen to a sermon before I'll ever get out of here. But when he started speaking, like I said, with the voice of wisdom and authority that just captivated me on the inside like never before. So I just stood there and listened like I was frozen in time. He talked about how many people became lost in the world, but how easy it was to be found if they'd only open up their hearts and mind to the man who came to save mankind. He said, when you were lost and the only place you found was an old church in the woods, you knew you'd find an answer here because of the light you saw. You knew someone was here, but if you'd seen me elsewhere, would you have listened to my words? And I sheepishly answered, no. Well, he just grinned and took my hand and laid an old Bible in it with a map of the area and said, "These will get you back home. My son, you were lost, but now you're found. If you'll only listen to my words." Well, I thanked him, and as I was leaving, I turned around for one last look and noticed the light had gone, and all I could really see was the trees. So I just followed the old map he gave me, and it led me to a familiar town I knew when I decided to have coffee in the town diner. Well, I was telling my story to some of the locals about the man at the old church in the woods when they all just kind of went pale. And one of them told me that old church burnt down over 50 years ago and that I must have been mistaken where I'd been. So I showed them the old map and the Bible, and one of them said, "Well, glory be to God. The name in this here old Bible is the old bum Pastor Eli brought home with him and lost his life the night of the fire, saving everyone but himself by holding up a timber that had blocked the door." Well, they all looked at me kind of funny as I walked out of that place, but I knew that I had just been saved too by a bum in that old church in the woods. I once was lost, but now I'm found, 'cause I listened to his words in that old church in the woods.